Hey there, folks. I'm Isaac, and I am a robot gamer.
And I'm Claire, and I'm a 3D printing master.
Oh, neat. Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
that's what I am today.
And this is Make That Game,
where we pitch the latest,
the greatest
new video game ideas
that won't ever get made.
That's a pretty bleak outlook.
Yeah, no way to spice that one up, folks.
Nope.
Yeah, well, so, let's make that game.
Yeah, it is.
We pitch the latest and the greatest new video game ideas that won't ever get made. Do you got a late or great video game idea?
We're just jumping right into it.
Oh, did you wanna
Can't even think of a word right now.
I don't even know what the word is when you just do other stuff before you dive into it, you know?
I mean, we jump in most of the time.
I want to say weasel around, but that sounds sinister.
It's not weasel around.
Okay.
No.
We're not weaseling around on this one.
It is now, to be clear.
Okay, good.
But it wasn't
Good.
Okay, I do have a game idea.
Oh, incredible.
It is called Crinoline.
Spell it?
I don't know how to spell that. Are you kidding me? Crinoline? You think I can
Is it a real word?
Yes.
What? Is it like adrenaline?
No, it's another word for like a hoop skirt.
Victorian era. Victorian.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So it's called Crinoline, and it's a top-down action-adventure game.
Okay.
Similar to like a Link's Awakening vibe.
Yep.
But the twist is, well, I kind of imagine it more like an Old West setting, which I guess was the Victorian era too, right? Like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the official like Victorian era is because it was based on a queen, right?
Yeah, Queen Victoria.
Yeah. So less than 100 years.
Maybe. I mean, I do think that like the Victorian era vibes persisted past
Queen Victoria, you think?
I do think people didn't just like stop building Victorian houses if she passed away.
Well, at the point that she did, they were throwbacks, though.
We'd have to look more into it, which I did not. Anyway, the conceit of this, game is that the character you're playing is wearing a hoop skirt, which is the crinoline part. And so it's also kind of inventory management. So you store all your weapons and all your stuff in the skirt.
Okay.
And as you continue playing the game, you can get a bigger and bigger skirt to fit more things.
Oh,
However, the bigger your skirt, the harder it is to maneuver.
Right.
So like you could potentially not be able to fit through doorways at some point, or like not be able to fit in certain places. So you're always kind of managing like, do I wear my big hoop skirt so I can carry all these things? Or do I like easily navigate through the world?
So there's like a home base where you can like change your skirt.
Yeah, I think there has to be like where you can upgrade to different size skirts.
Booth,
yeah.
Like Superman.
That would be good too. But yeah, it's not something you can do like just in a menu because then it would be too easy.
Right.
But that would be kind of part of the puzzle solving is like, okay, to get into this place, I need this size skirt. But I also need these certain weapons to defeat the boss that's in there. So you have to like really plan ahead.
Mm-hmm. Have a couple exploratory ventures. Like, okay, I'll go in there with a skirt with the skirt size that I need. And just like basic good stuff. Like, I don't know, a lantern and a club or something. And then as you explore, you're like, oh no, I need the skeleton key and sheep shears.
Yeah. And I mean, it's funny because this would basically require you to go in and out of dungeons a lot because you're going to have to like discover new puzzles that you might not be able to solve. And I hate that, I designed it in my game.
Yeah. Hey, not every game is for the designer.
Right. Another fun thing could be like interacting with characters. So similar to how in Tears of the Kingdom, I had to get the name right. You like if you're wearing the CC hat, characters will like have different dialogue with you.
Oh, they'll give you secrets.
So like because like the big hoop skirts are generally known for like the wealthy, you can talk to different people depending on like your outfit too.
The bigger the hoop skirt, the more respected you are.
Yeah.
Okay. All
So you can
right.
get some more info, but then maybe if your hoop skirt's too big, you can't talk to like the local merchants because they think you're just a snob.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like, do I know the point of this game? Not really. No,
Just to have a fun time.
but I think, well, if I were to completely develop it, then we would have like an actual story arc. But
Oh,
this
okay.
is a game design podcast, not a game story podcast, which I've
That's
been
what I
told.
always say.
Yeah. So that's the design element is the hoop skirt, and it's called crinoline, and that is my game.
Wow. All right. Well, my hoop skirt's not big enough for me to win this game.
You don't have $1 million in your hoop skirt?
No, I don't have $1 million in my hoop skirt.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have a game idea in your hoop skirt?
I do. So, I do have a game idea, and wow, it would be great if I came up with names ever. All right, so the basic idea is, I've never played Superhot, but I'm gonna
I
pitch
love
this
Superhot.
as reverse Superhot.
Super hot.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding of Superhot is that time only moves in the game when your character is moving.
Correct.
Okay.
That's its thing.
This game is you're not allowed to ever stop moving. And so it's a first-person shooter, a lot like Superhot. Different guns, And I don't know the exact reasoning why you would never stop moving. The best justification I can think up of is like that Jason Statham movie where he has to have adrenaline going at all times or else he dies.
I've never heard of that.
Ooh, I
That's
forget what
okay.
it's called, but
That's fine.
But yeah,
I get the concept.
So yeah, you just have to keep moving, and it's level based, and the second unique thing is that every level you can use the power to slow down time, and that's your I need to think kind of ability,
like the Flash.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like you have to keep moving. So like the problem that would run into is that it would be kind of fatiguing to like constantly be moving, and the only thing that you can ever do to like calm that down is to like pause the game.
Now, are you imagining this, and you might get to this, but are you imagining this as VR, so it's like physically fatiguing?
No, I was
Okay.
not imagining it. I usually don't imagine games as VR, honestly.
I've only played Superhot as VR, and I think that's like a really cool way to play.
Yeah. I assume it's the way to play. But yeah, I'm not envisioning this as a VR game.
Because then I don't
How
know.
do you move in V? Do you have to shuffle your feet? No, you click a little button. You still have a movement stick, right?
No.
Uh,
So in VR, I mean, so it depends on the game you're playing, but you don't have a movement stick. Generally speaking, you will be like stationary, and then you can like point at locations and kind of like zoom there. This might have
Okay.
changed too. Like again, to be clear to our audience, I have not been in the VR sphere in quite a while, so there might be more ingenuity. But when I've played, there isn't a stick. You can like walk around. You can physically walk in the box that is like assigned to you. And then if you want to go outside that box, you like point basically to a location and then like press a button and you zoom there.
okay, interesting.
But in Superhot, the way it worked was you basically didn't have to move outside your box. Like enemies were coming to you to attack you.
Oh,
So
was there not any level navigation in that game?
I think there was, and I do think. Well, I think you could move outside your box. Maybe that was just my.
Maybe that's just your
I think
style.
that was my gameplay because I know there's one where you have to punch them, like you're not allowed to use a gun and like a long range weapon, and I was like, because I would just like hide and shoot everyone. But so I think they might have had rapid movement, but the game is definitely not about level navigation. It's really more about
Okay.
the movement.
So yeah, this game would have level navigation, for sure. So maybe that might take it away from the VR space.
I mean, what I pictured really was like maybe it's like almost an auto scroller in VR, so like it's always moving because that's also in VR where things will move for you. And like you have to like, and what I'm doing is like wiggling my hands back and forth, like they have controllers in them, and I'm just wiggling.
Wow, like a Wii Fit exercise.
Yeah, and you just gotta go. You just gotta go,
Like-
go, go. You just gotta run in place. You just gotta go, 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 go. I mean, could be the new Wii Fit. Anyway, sorry. I don't have
Yeah.
to convince you to do VR on your game, but I immediately imagined it that way.
Yeah. Auto scroller would probably be a way to make this work, like conceptually, without needing to do too much work. But no, I was actually thinking like normal first person controls, and if you stayed still for too long, your character literally died. Like you got a game over.
I mean, I think it's very interesting. I do think that a lot of gamers are used to not staying still.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of
Like,
people would
that's
be
like-
able to step into this. Like a lot of like Doom like games, like
Any
Quake
speedrunner.
and any speedrunner, but like the boomer shooter genre.
I mean, I've watched people play video
Okay.
games, including yourself, where there's like a cutscene, but you can still move. And is Link just standing there? No, he's running in circles, jumping on walls, doing rolls. Like, I've never seen a gamer sit still.
Yeah. But none of those
Just to be
games
clear.
like game over you for like there are in most games there is a moment where you just like sit there and you contemplate, you think, you consider the next move. Like it's a strong enemy, you sit there and cover and like try to recover health
I
or
guess-
like
yeah.
plan your angle
Hiding
of attack.
and observing are definitely parts of it. That
Yeah,
I miss.
and then
But
this game doesn't allow that except for when you use your once per level like ability to slow down time for 30 seconds or whatever. Like the game is going to be really designed towards having the player figure out the optimal time to use that, like putting them in a scenario
now,
where it's desired, and then have like like at the later levels, the idea is going to be that it's going to throw multiple borderline scenarios at you to try to trick you into using your ability at the wrong time, and then you might lose later on and then have to replay and be like, okay, so I can't afford to use my ability in this first fight. There's a second fight coming up later. And the skill in the game, because everybody loves a gameplay skill, is knowing where exactly that line of I need to use this versus I don't need to use this is.
yeah, I could also see it as like a rechargeable power, and maybe you get more of them as you go through.
Yeah, that's one idea. Some levels could have power-ups, but I don't want it to be like a, you get to use this every 20 minutes kind of thing. I want this to be like you should only use it once per level, and then some levels either as a secret power-up or as a design way. Like, okay, most levels are like 5 minutes long. This level is going to be 20
Oh, that's
minutes
short.
long. It's going to be an endurance thing. But halfway through, we're going to give you a second use of your power-up just to make it a little less endurance.
So how do you imagine it looks like? Is it like a Link's Awakening? Is it a Breath of the Wild? Is it what's another good game?
I imagine it as just like a low poly boomer shooter that looks like
I don't know
it
what
could
a
have came
boomer
out from the
shooter
90s.
is. What is a boomer shooter?
It's a shooter for boomers. It's a first person shooter game that is that could at least seem like it came from the like 90s.
Okay. I don't know what that would look like.
Like the original Doom or Quake.
These games I've never
GoldenEye.
No.
64.
I played no.
See, the like I just low poly, kind of
Like
bright.
Restless Soul.
Isn't that the Ghost game on the
Yeah.
Switch?
Yeah. It's not first
that's
person.
pixel art.
Oh. Low poly is not the same.
No. Low poly is like when you look at Super Mario 64 and you say,
throw up?
"Oh, I hate that."
Okay, great. Oh no. Why do you basically just created the nausea game. It's first person, low poly, have to move constantly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You have motion sickness, run away from this one.
We don't want you here. This is a cool guys tough person club.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough eyes.
I do like the switching the super hot on its head. I think that's fun.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funnier.
Anti-Superhot, super cold.
You could call it super cold.
Mm.
It would be funnier if it was VR, but because people would have to be
Jogging.
But I get it. Again, I could physically never play this game, whether I think it's cool or not. But
the opposite of super? Subhot.
I feel like you'd be super hot playing this game because you're working hard.
That's true. This game would make you more attractive if you played it. Folks, that's my pitch.
All right. Well, on that note, we enter a whole new segment. Well, it's new to this episode. It's not new to us.
No, it's brand new to everyone. I've never heard of this before. New segment. I thought that my contract says I'm done.
No, it doesn't. This is our discussion/question segment where we discuss some game idea topic.
Okay.
And I have brought, I guess it is a question. It is a question. The question is, are there new arcade games being designed? And I asked this because I created an arcade game for last week's, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like new, like not just like, oh, we built a new Pac-Man machine, but like, are there new games? Like, how does that? What's the pipeline there?
So, I have absolutely no basis for saying this, but I want to say yes because arcades still exist, and they can't all be playing retro games. And I know rhythm games are pretty popular in an arcade format, so I assume most rhythm games that come out.
I guess I feel like they're not new though. Like, it's the same game. It's just like maybe new songs.
Well, I've seen a couple variations of the rhythm game.
Right, but like...
And I don't know if they're coming up with new things. I haven't been to an arcade myself in a decade.
Oh, wow. We should go to an arcade.
Like, maybe not literally a decade, but like I went to round one.
Round one.
6+ years ago. Maybe 8+ years ago. I don't know. That was a long time. But yeah, I haven't been inside of one. So I went to a barcade for someone's birthday. I guess that counts, but that was like all retro games. I don't think they had any new games.
Well, I don't think there are. I think, I don't know. Like every time I've been to an arcade, they just have, Isaac's looking it up. He's pulling out his phone. He's going to research. I could have researched this question, but that's not fun. If we don't talk about it. But when I've been to game, I mean, it's all the same stuff I've seen since I was a kid. And I don't think they're not making machines, but I do think they're just updating old games.
Like, so you are specifically asking like
if like you and I have both pitched arcade style games on this very podcast. Could we go to like a company and be like, we designed this arcade game, and they would build it and we would put it in an arcade? Like, does that happen anymore?
So,
It's a bad question. I was just curious. I haven't thought about arcades in a very long time, and I'm just like...
I mean, neither have I, which, so I don't think I can't really speak for this one. But here, I'm going to bring this around to a good question.
Oh, thanks.
I think, sorry, no, I didn't mean it like that, but I think you and I have a different definition of arcade style game.
Okay, that actually was I had a part two, so that's perfect.
Okay.
This is a good transition, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's skip the question of arcade machines and let's talk about arcade style, because we have talked about it on the podcast before.
Yeah, if you're listening though and you know of like a brand new arcade game that's come out in the last 5 years, like please email us.
Yeah, please.
MakeThatGamePodcast@gmail.com. Like I would love to see it and we can like show it off and talk about it. So, or if you are a like arcade game designer, I'd love to hear about that process because it seems really different than like releasing a game on Steam or something.
I mean, on that note, like an arcade machine is effectively just it's still a computer at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, but I just think it's a different it's a different genre. It's like, it's different. It is different.
All right. So, all right. Arcade style. Arcade style to you appears to mean a game on an arcade machine.
Yeah.
Okay. Arcade style to me, and email me if I'm wrong on this, listeners. Arcade style to me just generally means it is meant to be played in short bursts. It might have a very high likelihood of skilled or unskilled or even skilled players like dying quickly to get more quarters out of it. Like it might be difficult. And usually like fairly action focused. so that you'll be tapping that button and moving that joystick a whole lot on the arcade machine, make it look exciting for you to do. You're constantly doing stuff, and like it's not going to be like an 80-hour epic RPG or anything. It's going to be like, I'm going to jump on with maybe some of my friends, and we're going to play for half an hour and like beat up goblins or whatever in a top-down like fantasy action RPG kind of thing.
I think your question was like, you said like arcade style, but to me there's a difference between arcade style and arcade game. Like arcade style game, yes, and I've played like the one I honked and bonked it like eons ago, but it's like you are a submarine and you have to like, you're basically a submarine Uber. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
Like I would see that as arcade style, but it's not an arcade game because it's not in an arcade that I know of.
No, but
probably
like,
not, because it's just like an itch.io game. It could be, I guess, in theory, but
yeah.
It's not. So like I also would loop arcade games. Like, I mean, I would consider, like you said, like dance games, arcade games, which you can't really play on a PC. Really, I mean, I know people get like the mats, but it's very different. It's very different. And then like pinball. Is pinball a video game? Not really, but I love it.
Yeah.
That's a debatable.
I mean, you can make pinball video games, and
I mean, the Microsoft one is very famous. If anyone played that one in the 90s,
I do think that at least legally, pinball machines are classified as video games. This is like 20-year-old information in my head at this point, but like any game with a video, well, I guess not every pinball machine does have it.
I don't know. We're getting semantic-y here.
Yeah.
What's your favorite arcade game? That's a good question.
My favorite arcade game. All right. So there was the last time I went to an arcade, there was a game that I played that struck me. And I went home and I bought it on Steam. And it's called like Mushihime-sama or something like that. It's like a Japanese shoot 'em up game. Mushihime-sama. You play as a princess riding a bug, and you fly through the forest, and you shoot down thousands of enemies and collect little tokens of score.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
My favorite is Space Invaders. Why is that so funny?
Like the first arcade game ever made.
Wait, is it?
Pretty sure.
Oh.
I mean, maybe Pong counts, but all right, let's see. Let's learn something. What's the first
Let's learn them up right here on the pod.
arcade game?
I don't think it was Space.
Computer Space.
There you
What?
go.
That's not even real. What does that even mean? Computer Space? So that was in 1971, and then Pong came in 1972, and then after that, 1978, Space Invaders.
Wow. I picked the number 3 game that exists.
I mean, no one's ever heard of Computer Space.
No.
What kind of video game
But now I want to play
historian-
Computer Space. I want just for the knowledge, just for the ancient wisdom.
Oh, wait, hold on. This Wikipedia article has a segment for 2000s to today. Sega sold off most of its arcade business in 2020.
Wow, that's recent.
All right, I'm done learning. Are you ready for the rapid fire round?
I guess. Thanks, listeners, for sticking with us. And that was a little rambly, but I don't know. I want to talk about arcades.
Yeah. No, hey, sometimes you just got to talk about arcades.
But now it is time for the rapid fire round. That's where we generate 3 random words. We need to come up with a game idea based on those 3 words, and we only have 5 minutes to do it. And we need a title, or we lose. What do we lose? Nobody knows.
Respect from our audience.
I thought you were going to say respect for ourselves.
And that.
Okay, I was trying to get to the random word generator, but I accidentally typed rapid fire round instead, as if my phone would know what that meant.
It should know by now.
Okay. All right, I'm ready.
So am I. Oh, I just started it.
Why do you do this to me? Okay. Root, lamp, cell. Root.
Cell, spell that?
CELL.
Oh, interesting. All right. Cells and lamps are prisons.
And roots are underground.
Wait, ROOT or ROUTE?
ROOT.
Okay.
I know. routes are not underground. Or they can be, I guess. But.
They can be. And also, it can all... Okay. All right. Something about prisons.
Yep. Can it be another prison break?
Underground.
Yeah.
Maybe the prisons are formed by roots.
Okay.
So you are somebody, some evil fae creature
Playing
in
the
prisons.
Villain. No. Okay.
Oh, no. I was going to say some evil fae creature imprisons you within the roots of a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as, I don't know, a gnome or something, something small that would be in the roots of a tree, has to fight your way from the roots to the top of the tree in like a 3D platforming kind of game.
Okay. I like
so
it.
A lot of jumping, level navigation. Yeah. Enemies are
I like
pretty
the idea
simple.
of that platform element. I think that's great. I think for the story element, it's kind of weird that she would imprison you in a tree that you can just like hop around. So I was thinking the prison is underground, but they don't know that you have like magical root powers. So you're like summoning tree roots that you can use to escape. And then the game.
So the roots are not related to the cell.
Right.
Okay.
But the cell is underground, but you have secret root powers. Because it's like, why would she imprison you in a tree and then what? You're just hopping around?
Yeah.
That's a pretty bad imprisonment. That's a pretty bad job.
I mean, welcome to like video games in general. Like usually it turns out that you are an adept at the environment that you are like imprisoned or like thrown into.
Yeah, that's my least favorite part about Pokemon.
That's usually the whole idea.
That's my least
is
favorite
like
part about Pokemon. They're like, wow, why are you so good at this? And it's like, because you made it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, not every video game does that. So
I like how we're talking about like a gnome imprisoned by fairies underground in a tree, and we're like, it's got to be realistic.
It's got to be realistic.
The villain would not put you there. The villain would put you in a worse place.
Fine, you're a gnome in a tree, and you're hopping around, and once you get to the top, you can
and maybe
battle.
You can get elemental powers, and that's like the power up. Like
and then at the top, you battle the evil wizard that put you there.
Gargamel.
Yep, and then you win. Okay, now we need to come up with a name.
Okay.
There's lots of puns with the word gnome.
All right.
Oh, well, I just meant in general. Like
hit me with it.
Romeo and Juliet, Far From Gnome. That could be it because he's imprisoned. Like Far From Home. That's Far From Gnome.
All right. I'm willing to go with that one. Far From Gnome.
You are really?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
No, let's go. 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the clock.
We have time too. You just went with it. All right. Far From Gnome.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a solid one. As long as we also call it Spider-Man Far From Gnome.
Yeah.
You're a gnome spider.
Well, that's why you can jump around the tree, because spiders have jumping powers.
Oh my God. Oh, I know it's after the fact, but adding to it, like maybe it's not necessarily a permanent thing, but like going with the idea of like power-ups because it's like a platformer. Maybe there are spiders that you can find and like wear as a little backpack and they let you shoot
Oh my
webs.
gosh. Nice. Nice. All right. Are you ready for the next 3 words?
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, this is terrible. Okay. Support.
Okay.
Layout.
All right.
Lease.
Okay. So you are 3D printing houses.
Well, no.
You set up automations for 3D printing houses.
I feel like that's just a job. Like, I don't really see it as a game.
Yeah, that's an entire genre. Ever heard of Factorio?
No, actually, I haven't. But I have heard of other genres where they're just jobs, so I understand that. But this literally just feels like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think it needs another element. You can keep because if you're doing specifically 3D printing, but you're not physically making anything, it feels very unsatisfying. Versus like a sim style building game where you make a house and it's like it's just a cool virtual house.
Yes. So
do you see where I'm?
Yes. Although the automation part of it is like setting up the supply lines. So like 3D printing a house requires you to have access to cement. So you have big.
Wait, here's how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that, but the reason you're doing it is it's a city builder, but your city is completely 3D printed.
Yes.
So you have to like completely design how you can get this done with the supplies that you have and like provide the resources that your community needs.
Yeah.
Was that your idea?
Yes.
All you said was you're going to program a 3D printed house. You did
No,
not add
well,
the city
because
building
I was
aspect.
explaining the part, and then, anyone who knows what Factorio is, they already knew exactly where this was going. Because, so like I was saying, you've got to get cement vats, and then you've got to set up systems to get the limestone or whatever cement is and water to the cement vats, and then it mixes it, and then that automates to the actual 3D printers that you have to like set up to build houses in the layouts that meet needs for civilians and have the ability to like move to where they need to go. And you have to set up like clear space for your city's needs, like, carve down this cliff and then 3D print 3 houses out of the materials out of it.
Yeah, no, I just I thought you really meant like a 3D printing house simulator. And I was like,
No. I didn't mean like, hey, we're making slicing software, but you don't physically get anything out of it. No.
Okay, never mind. So it's not Bamboo Labs the game.
No,
it is way cooler.
Not.
And because of that, it needs a cool name.
Okay. So Factorio and Satisfactory have already been taken, and that's basically the name for this kind of game.
I was just 3D printed city, because 3D city is fun to say. Pretty city. My pretty city.
Wait. Pretty City 3D.
Pretty City 3D.
Pretty City 3D with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock.
Pretty City 3D.
There we go.
I love it because it kind of makes it sound like it was a game that was 2D in like the 90s and now it's a 3D version, but that's actually not what it is at all. And I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's time for the final rapid fire round.
Yeah. And I'm starting in 1, 2, 3.
Element. Pile.
Okay.
Defend.
Oh, it's a tower defense game where you're a dragon.
Okay. I mean, okay.
And you defend your pile of gold.
What if you defended your pile of elements and you were collecting elements?
How do you collect an element and put it in a pile?
I don't know. Well, where's elements coming in for you as your
dragon? Because you build magical towers that shoot different elements to defend your pile. So like fire enemies are weak to water towers, so you set up water towers, but if water enemies come through, then they are going to be immune to the water towers, so you have to set up.
What if you just have one tower, because you said it was a tower defense and you're the dragon?
Tower defense is a genre of games where you build towers to defend something.
I thought you were defending a tower.
No. Okay. You're using towers to defend something.
Well, what if this time we were?
Okay.
And you're the dragon, and the dragon, you can like eat and like combine different potions to use different elements in your attacks. So you can do like fire breath, water bomb.
Okay, so you're playing a character.
You're the dragon.
And you're defending a location.
Yes, your tower.
As yourself.
With a pile.
Okay. So your tower has a pile of stuff in it, and you're defending it.
As the dragon.
As the guy. Okay.
Does that work? I mean, I guess you can. I was just trying to spice it up.
Yeah.
Just trying to add a little spice, you know? No, we don't have to do that.
No? Okay, wait. So where do you get the elements again?
I guess around you. I don't know. I picture you're in like a field or something, so you can like eat the grass and then you can like spit rocks, because that's earth elements.
Okay.
And then like maybe when people die, they drop stuff that you
based
can
on
collect.
What they are. Okay.
You can like eat trees or like swirl around in. I don't know. I'm trying to work with the elements in a cool way, in a cool, unique way. But it doesn't, based on your facial expression of blank.
I'm contemplating it. I'm thinking about like the scope of this game, right?
Because it makes sense. It makes sense to have the towers that do different elements. But I don't know. I feel like that game's pretty fast. And like, okay.
Have you ever played Bloons TD?
No.
It was like a Flash game. No?
I don't think so. I don't know. Let me look at what it looks like.
Okay. Because if you've played any game with TD in its name, that is a tower defense game.
It's funny as I would never have known that.
And it's based on real-time strategy games because towers were like defensive structures that would like automatically shoot at enemies.
I have
as they
never
got
played
close.
this one.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So,
Well, okay, if you can spice up the way elements are used in it, then I'll accept your regular tower defense strategy.
No, we're going to go with yours. And now I'm envisioning that the gameplay is very similar to like Vampire Survivors, except you have the point to defend rather than just trying to survive yourself.
This is like name drop games Claire doesn't know episode. This doesn't happen that much where I've never heard of it. Like, at least I've heard of most of them. This
Which
is wild.
is really funny because the initial conceit of the show was kind of that you hadn't.
But I wouldn't know.
That yeah. So now you know so many things, but now I'm
know.
dropping new ones. See, I've just upped the difficulty level. Yeah.
I'm just looking up tower defense games to see if I've ever played any ever in my life. Don't think so.
They stemmed from like StarCraft and Warcraft 3.
Yeah, never.
Okay. All right. Well. All right. Okay. All
Sorry.
right. We need a name.
Yeah.
And we've already used Learn 'em Up Kids Elemental Blast, so we can't use that one.
Well, it's not learn them up. We're not learning anything anyway.
No, it could be.
Okay, let's
learn
see.
how to defend a tower.
Dragon, element, dragon, flying, tower, defend, protect.
How about just Dragon's Horde?
Sure.
Dragon's Horde. Bam, with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, okay. I was going to add a fun tag, but...
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Dragon's Horde. Shoot, what's the right word? Dragons.
You had this.
I know. What's the word? Oh, harness. Dragon's Horde. Harness the elements.
Okay. All right. There we go. That's a cool little tagline.
Nope. Okay.
Well, as part of a title, I don't like it. It does not appeal to me. But as like just a tagline on the box art,
yeah, that's what I kind of was imagining.
Okay, all right, yeah.
You always add a little extra at the title, so I was doing that.
That's true. I do love my colons.
Yep, and your kidneys too. Okay, well, that's the end of our episode. You can find us all over the internet. If you want to leave us a rating and review on iTunes, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. You can also follow us on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at MakeThatGamePod. You can email us, makethatgamepodcast@gmail.com, and you can find us on Twitch, twitch.tv/@MakeThatGame. And if you heard an idea today that you are very passionate about and that you really need to go out there and make, we encourage you to go out there and
make that game.